Are you thinking about moving to Nashville?
To be completely transparent, more than ever I've actually thought of that, but I don't think we'd ever leave Phoenix, right?
Never say never.
Abby just submitted her first audition for a role in a movie.
I want my boys to look at their mom and say, wow, my mom is a woman that is willing to take a risk. She's willing to put herself out there and she's willing to pursue her talents, which is all things that I want my kids to do.
How do you feel about our son being 2 years old now? I love this age he's at right now. I just don't want him to grow up.
While it hurts me that I'm like experiencing days we're never gonna get back with them, each day keeps getting freaking better.
What's up, dudes? And welcome back to the Unplanned podcast.
I feel way more comfortable saying that without guests.
Same. But it just feels so hyped. Like I feel like you could wake up in the morning and be like, "What's up, dudes?" And just saying that's gonna make you have a better day.
It's not that I'm an insecure person. I'm like wondering what our guests are going to think about us. It's more so like when we have an episode with a guest on it, we just have a conversation, and I don't want to feel like we're like forcing them to say anything. If we're just having an honest, genuine conversation.
I like doing weird stuff like that because you quickly find out who thinks they're too big for their, like who's too big for their britches, and like you don't want to be friends with those people. Like if they automatically are like, I don't want to be friends with that person because they're saying what's up, dudes. Is that how you
determine if someone's in their britches or not, or fitting their britches?
I don't know. I've just learned that from you. I've learned from you, like, you got to be yourself, and then like you're naturally going to find like the real ones that way. You don't need to like put on some sort of, fake persona. Just be you, And so if that means shouting "What's up, dudes" at the top of your lungs,
but if it's just not their persona, like who they are,
that's true. And then but that's like what makes people interesting. Like when you find somebody, I love people that are weird, and
that's
that
true.
just
me too.
It keeps things interesting. It makes life
why
entertaining.
I married you, babe.
Thank you.
She probably isn't listening to this, or maybe she is, but my best friend growing up, we actually just went to her bachelorette party a couple weeks ago. But anyway, growing up and like all through middle school, like I always thought it was so cool to be weird. Mm-hmm. And I would always be like, "You're so weird," like as a compliment, because like I like loved that she was weird and like did funny things. And she would kind of get insecure about that word, which just shows like how people just interpret that word differently, or they have different ideas surrounding that word. So she'd be like, "Oh, you mean weird in a cool way, right?" And so now we keep joking. Like even today, like I'm like, "You're weird in a cool way, Morgan."
How was that, by the way? How was that bachelorette trip?
It was so fun. Matt, if there's one thing about me, I am a girl's girl through and through. Like I just like love being around girls so much. And so it was so fun being around her. And it's like we grew up being like basically sisters, like best friends. I didn't have a sister. She was like my sister. Her and our other friend Taylor, we were like the three amigos. And so now that like this thing happens when you become an adult and you get married and you have your own family, like, and you move, that I think that's the main thing, is that I just moved to a different state and life changed a lot, that you just like, I hate the phrase grow apart, because like, I mean, essentially that's what it was, but it feels more like dramatic or sad than what it really was. It was just like we had built separate lives at that point while still having like a lot in common at our core, and like could still relate on a lot of things. But anyway, just being back together in the Midwest and like just in a house full of girls, like women, it was so fun.
By the way, side note for you guys, we are currently in Nashville, which I feel like the bachelorette trip would have been perfect in Nashville, because I feel like Nashville is the perfect place for bachelorette trips. There's just so many good restaurants.
More money for everyone.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It can be expensive over here, especially there's so many people from California moving to Nashville, and I feel like that's made the real estate here go crazy.
Yeah, no, in St. Louis, I'm pretty sure for the weekend, my portion of the Airbnb was like $90.
That's amazing.
Maybe less.
Congratulations, whoever planned that out, because like that is some serious budgeting.
Did it, so that's the thing. I will say this: the expectations for bridesmaids nowadays has gotten insane. People going on massive trips like Cabo, like that's where we went as a couple on our anniversary. That's one thing, but to make all your entire bridal party pay to go to Cabo or go to Miami, I feel like that's another bachelorette spot. Like that's crazy. Plus they have to buy so many things for the wedding. They have to get a gift. They have to get the hotel for the weekend. They have to get, like, there's so many being a bridesmaid can be so expensive nowadays. And so the fact that like her sisters that were planning that were so mindful of that was awesome of them.
That is awesome. It's tough too, because like I totally see the draw of like, if your friends can afford to go to Cabo, that sounds freaking amazing to do a bachelorette trip to Cabo. But then like Yeah, you just don't know everyone's financial situation, and that can be tricky because you don't want to leave somebody out because they can't afford it. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. And people are like going broke trying to be bridesmaids in weddings. I promise you.
That's so sad.
I feel like that's the case because, like, especially if you have more than one wedding in a summer, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
There's a lot and it's just hard. And I think the older you get, like, since I got married at 20, like, we stayed over at my house. Like, we didn't have like an Airbnb or a hotel.
That's
even
right.
We just stayed at my college rental house, which was amazing. It was incredible. It wasn't about, the glitz or the glamour, and they made so many meaningful, because we didn't have budget, like, we had to get creative. And I didn't say we because, like, they planned it for me. Morgan did.
Yeah.
And that same friend. And they got creative, and we had so much fun. And also, there was no alcohol.
That's the thing.
I had the most untraditional bachelorette party nowadays.
Same. I think the craziest thing that we did at my bachelor party was I think I smoked like part of a cigar, not even the whole thing.
That's actually kind of crazy, man. Your dad was there too, right?
But like that's
you
the
couldn't
thing.
Get too crazy.
That's like an old fashioned thing. Like my dad.
Yeah.
I've seen my dad smoke cigars before.
For sure.
But it's not like he always did that. I would see him do that like once every 2 years.
It's a tradition, right? Like especially when you have a baby, I think it's a tradition.
But I actually don't like it. Like smoke. I don't think I'll ever smoke a cigar ever again because I hate the way it makes me feel. I feel like I'm inhaling cancer into my body. Like the whole time I'm just like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
But for whatever reason, culturally, that was a cool thing. So I was like, you know what? At my bachelor party, we're gonna have some cigars. And so
yeah, maybe not anymore, especially with my grandpa getting lung cancer.
But I think you're right though. You can have so much fun, and you just got to get creative with it. It doesn't have to cost that much to have fun.
Well, I think then that shows that you're like actually having fun too.
Yeah,
and it's not like just like these substances that are tricking you into thinking you're having fun.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's all about balance, right?
You know what they did for my bachelorette party? Did you even know that we did this? We went to the Branson Landing.
And then you had to go...
I had to go on a scavenger hunt.
Oh my God.
So I had to find another couple that had like a big height difference or find somebody else named Matt. And like, I just had to go and talk to all these random people. And, it being Southern Missouri, people don't really like to just be approached, I guess. Like, here's the thing. It's such a warm and friendly area, but people don't they don't want to take part in any kind of games,
Yeah.
And so in general, like some people were like awesome, sweet sports, but some people I was like, this is so embarrassing. But that's why it was funny because we just made funny memories doing it, and it was a good time.
That's hilarious.
I had to ask like an older couple their best marriage advice, or I had to ask someone to sing a song to me or something like that.
That's hilarious.
It was fun.
Did you ever do those things growing up, like where you were with like a certain youth group and you'd go to like the mall and try to get someone to like trade socks with you?
Yeah.
Or you had to like sing to everyone in line at a grocery store, or ask to like sing into the intercom? It was like a game, and whoever could get the most points won, and you had like teams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That I
did that just with friends. Like it wasn't even like an organized thing. Like we just
why is that so
in a
fun?
small town, like you make your own fun.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
I wasn't even from a small town.
We
but
had
that
to
was so
go
fun.
to. I remember one of them was we had to go to the mall and get a sample of red lipstick and pretend we were Miranda Sings.
No way.
Nowadays, as an adult, I'm just curious why people are so grumpy sometimes with stuff like that. Like I can understand if you are like actually like making a mess or being extremely disruptive or being rude, like none of that's acceptable. But if kids are just like having fun, I don't understand why anyone would be like so upset about that. Like if kids were doing that when I was out in public, I feel like I would think it was funny and sweet.
In today's generation, kids are getting into less trouble and doing less,
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I feel like all these kids are just on their phones now. Like everyone's just on their phone, they're scrolling, they're playing video games.
Getting in trouble online,
just like
though.
I kind of want our kids, I would prefer it for our kids to get into some trouble and like live a little bit than be stuck behind an iPad watching shows.
1000%. Actually, there's so much benefits from getting in trouble, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because like I even just like the thing of like allowing your kids to have risky play, they learn where the boundary is, and they learn how to have confidence in themselves to take risks.
Yeah.
And then they also know how to learn from mistakes. Whereas if they never make a mistake or never get hurt or never, step outside their comfort zone in a way that wasn't validated in every ounce of what they were expecting, then they don't know how to handle it. And I just don't think that's right.
Something that blows my mind is how often, like if you have kids, you know this, but just how often little kids get hurt. And it's not like they're getting seriously hurt. It's just like a little fall here, a little bump here. Yeah. But it happens constantly throughout the day. And there's literally nothing you can do about it. Like, sure, you could wrap your kid in bubble wrap, but I mean, they need to learn how to balance and learn like how to control their body so that they protect themselves while they're little, because when they're big, if they fell backwards onto their head standing up,
everyone learns. You
would crack your head open. But when you're little, like you're only 12 inches off the ground, right? So I don't know. It blows my mind how you kind of have to fail to learn and to grow.
For sure.
And it's cool. It's just cool though, watching our kids.
Now Griffin says, kiss it better to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that even happened, because I don't really recall saying that. I probably did, and I just don't really remember it. But now that he's doing all these things that like you used to see every little kid does it. Like every little kid thinks a kiss makes it better.
So,
and like that's so sweet. I love that.
I love that our kids are playing outside so much right now because they can. We're staying at a house that has a big yard and there's a little playhouse in the back. And one of my favorite things to do with Griffin, our now 2-year-old, we'll have to talk more about his birthday here in a second, but one of my favorite things is he'll make me ice cream. So there's these like fake ice cream scoops, and he's like, Dad, ice cream? And I go back and I'm like, oh yes, and I go and he laughs so hard every time when I do this stupid like pretending to eat the ice cream. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the whole entire world. And then I get Augie to eat the ice cream too, and then Griffin will just like smack it to the side and it'll all fall apart, and then he'll go pick it up and do it all over again. But I'm so glad that our kids are just getting to be kids and play outside, and we're avoiding screen time as much as possible with them being outside. And I think it's so good for their development.
I mean, yeah, we always have avoided screen time pretty much. Yeah, like there's been like, we're not anti-screens, but like definitely want them to like use their imagination and creativity and play, and also be okay with being bored. Like I'm okay with our kids being bored. I was bored a lot as a kid, and that's how it developed me as a person.
I'm so glad that the weather allows for our children to be outside in July, because right now in Phoenix, where we came from, we're out of Phoenix right now for a whole month. It is so hot in Phoenix. You literally cannot take your kids outside in the month of July. It doesn't even get below 100, unless it might, like maybe at like 5 a.m. it'll be like maybe 98. The pool,
but other than that,
I mean, like hard. you can bring your kids in the pool, but it's just kind of a bummer how hot it is, because it's just not safe for your kids to play outside when it's sunny.
The way I see it though is like, pretty much anywhere you live, most places you're going to have a season where you can't go outside. And in Phoenix, it's just like July and August. Whereas like a lot of places, it's January, December, February.
I mean, I guess you're right. Like here in Nashville in the wintertime when it snows or when it gets really cold, I'm sure that's not the best, but your kids can still throw in a coat. But we're going
to throw Augie in a coat and just send him in a snowdrift.
Maybe.
That's what you plan on doing?
Maybe. But yeah, I'm just thankful that here the weather has been a lot better. It's funny though, hearing people complain about the weather in Nashville, because I grew up in St. Louis, which is just a few hours away from Nashville. The weather is so similar. I grew up with the same weather, and everyone that moved to Nashville from California, which is so many people here, are like, oh my gosh, it's so hot here, it's crazy. And sure, it can get like a little hot sometimes at 4 o'clock if it's really sunny out, but it's nothing compared to Phoenix. I mean, even last night we went to a movie in the park in downtown Nashville.
Yeah, we needed blankets.
Did this beautiful like outdoor movie, and it was cold. Like it literally got cold. You don't get cold in Phoenix in the summertime. Ever.
No. Yeah, no. I have a blanket on right now and a hot coffee because it's raining, and it's like kind of cozy vibes. Like I just want to sit and read that book over there and curl up on the couch.
Isn't that vibey? Isn't the rain awesome?
But I will say I love the sunshine. I'm a sunshine girl.
Yeah, I do too.
I just love that Arizona is always sunny. Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Are you wasting your money on unwanted subscriptions? Because we've been there.
We actually might still be there. We need to check our Rocket Money as of recently.
Our son will just sign us up for subscriptions with our TV remote. And so thank goodness Rocket Money has our back. They make it so easy to cancel those subscriptions. And if you have a bill that you need to negotiate, they do that as well.
They negotiated our home security bill, which I don't even understand how they did that. But all of a sudden, we just had more money in our account, and we didn't have to do anything for it. And that's because of Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. All of these features actually do what they say. You literally just push cancel subscription and it cancels it for you.
And they make budgeting so easy because you can see on a little pie chart like how much spending you did in the month versus the income you had coming in. So it just gives you a nice visual to see like, this is where my money's going. And if there's a place that you want to cut back on, just go to your Rocket Money app and check out how you want to, plan for the future with your finances.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/unplanned. That's rocketmoney.com/unplanned. rocketmoney.com/unplanned.
What I've realized, Abby, is I love change. And so in my brain, growing up in Missouri, I was like, man, I just got to get out of Missouri and see the world. But I've realized, like, even in Hawaii, when we lived in Hawaii, if we were there for too long and we didn't get out and do something different, I would get bored of Hawaii, and it's called island fever. So I think, finding ways to switch it up, keep your life kind of fun and, live on the edge. That's the way to do it.
I just want to constantly keep things fresh in our life and our marriage and our with our kids, because I think that can kind of be the trap of this stage of life where it's we got so used to the kids' routine that this is how every day looks. And I kind of want to push against that, even if it's just in small ways. For us, instead of going to dinner on a date night, I was what if we went to a murder mystery dinner party? That just sounds fun and crazy. Or just something different. And I don't know. I
like that. I like that a lot.
Do things like that. There's one here in Nashville that we might try out.
I love being friends with other couples because they just get it. They understand, We've
always clicked really well with other couples.
We do.
And sometimes I'm like, man, I don't have a lot of friends outside of couple friends.
I know exactly how you feel. The only friends that I have really outside of couple friends now are my gym buddy and then everyone that I write music with. I've met a lot of single people and a lot of people that aren't couples through music now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, something about being friends with couples is just
and then
awesome.
when you have friends that are also parents too, when your parents obviously feels like you've got a kindred spirit.
Yeah, I love that. They just get it, Yeah. Other parents understand the struggle.
Yeah, and we're getting dinner tonight with another couple that doesn't have kids, and that's where an instance where I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to wait till after the kids go to bed and make sure we have childcare lined up to watch the monitors, because it's just not the same when you're with a couple that doesn't have kids and you bring your kids along. You know what I mean? It's kind of if they had kids, I'd bring them along and plan an earlier dinner, but it's just, they kind of change the atmosphere and the conversation ability.
It's kind of fun just being me and you. Last night on our date, it was just you and I in the car. I feel like that never happens. And I don't know, it kind of brought me back to when we were newlyweds and everything felt like an adventure. It reminded me of when we went to Colorado on a spur of the moment trip to just go hiking. And that time was so exciting because we didn't live together before we were married, and we hadn't really vacationed together, just the two of us. And so, last night was just this, mind-opening experience of, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm young again. I feel like we still got it.
You are young. You're 26.
I guess that is young. I feel so old, though. Do you not feel old?
No, I feel young.
I look at these kids, though, and I'm an 18-year-old. I'm 8 years older than an 18-year-old now. Isn't that crazy?
Who cares?
Crazy, right?
You have the confidence of a 26-year-old. Think about how insecure you were as an 18-year-old.
True. I don't know. So it's weird. I just feel so similar to how I felt when I was younger.
Yeah, me too.
And I've seen videos of older people opening up about their life and things that they would have changed. Those videos about, just pop up on your feed. And there was this lady who was 75 talking about how she felt like she was still 26. And that just got me thinking, dang, when I'm 75, hopefully I make it that long, but when I'm 75 one day, I think I'll probably still feel the same way. I mean, your mom's told us all the time that she feels like she's still in college, but your mom's in her 50s. But I think that's why you got to just enjoy the moment and fully be present and all the good stuff going on. Sorry, I feel like I'm taking this conversation like in a very sentimental,
You
nostalgic.
always go so deep, and I'm just like, can we talk about the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders documentary?
Yeah, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Wait, you've been like so into that show.
I am. I'm so into it.
Okay, talk to me about it.
Okay, well, so many reasons.
Why do you love it so much?
Number one, I love the girl camaraderie.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
I love how when girls, like in the beginning of the documentary, okay, so basically it's a documentary, you already know about it. It's on Netflix. It's like #1 or something. It's like the Dallas Cowboys NFL team's cheerleaders, tryouts process. And whenever girls have gotten cut, the other girls are sobbing with them. And they're all rooting each other on. It's not like someone gets cut and they're like, oh, great, one more down. That makes my chances higher of making it actually on the final team. Like, no, they are rooting each other on. They're telling them, no, you can change their mind. Like, they're helping each other learn the choreography. They're critiquing them. They're like, it's a girl gang. And that's, I love that. Because as a former dancer, you know, I danced in high school, basically. Well, all growing up, and then in high school, nothing to that level. But I still had, and I was on pom in high school. I had that girl team. Like, I love having that constant contact with other girls and like having something you're working for together. You're doing hard things together. You're pushing each other. No matter what, you still have practice. You still have to show up. If you have to show up for game day, you have to show up for performances. I love that so much. And I just love watching it because I can relate even in a tiny degree.
It's funny you say that because I obviously never did competitive dance or anything like that, but because I did dance growing up, I saw how strict some of these dance teachers could be on the girls. They were never strict on me because I was the dude. So it was like, oh, Matt's...
Oh, really? They were easier on you?
Oh, they were so much easier on me. Like, it was like, I was like the one dude.
Oh, you were the one.
And out of that, I was like the one straight dude. So it was just like, for whatever reason, I feel like I had this... Like, they were going to go, he's like, oh, it's just Matt. Like, we don't expect him to look pretty while he's dancing.
Yeah, maybe if you were gay, they would have a little bit more of a standard for you.
Yeah. But, no, with the girls, they were strict. And so it brought back memories of that as well. And I remember you telling me that you saw people on social media getting mad at the coaches in the documentary.
Kelly.
Like, why are they being so strict with these girls? I don't think people realize like how tough it is when it comes to dance.
That was like, say you're not a former dancer without saying you're not a former dancer, because any dancer that watched a documentary didn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
Because you just see a coach that cares about the girls and want to see them reach their fullest potential. There was never a time where I was like, oh, she's out of line there. That was just rude. It was like, it was always firm corrections, you know, things that they can work on, and it was never like evil or mean, I don't think. And here's the other thing too, is that like if people were watching a documentary of a football coach talking to the football players and they were talking in that same tone, you wouldn't even think twice. You might even be like, wow, he's going easy on them, you know? It's just, for some reason with dancers, it's like, oh, they think that they can't handle it. It's like, well, no, they actually can handle it. They're tough. It's their sport.
For whatever reason, I've always liked the strict coaches. I've always loved that. Like, I want them to be hard on me. I want to improve, especially if it's something that I care about.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, when I played volleyball in high school, I had a coach who was strict, and I respected her, and I wanted to push myself to be the best that I could possibly be.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way? Like, do you think that the coaches for you in your life were more effective?
And I think it's because I might have felt differently if it was really strict at home too. Because then I might have been like, okay, this is like, I don't feel close with any adult. But because it is harder to have a relationship and get close with like a leader figure like that if they are so strict. But like, I would go to a practice or whatever and like say it was a little bit more strict and, you know, less emotional. Then I got to come home and I had like loving, gentle parents.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's coming from my perspective of like what my home life was like, but I did like it when people pushed me, but I also was kind of sensitive.
Yeah.
But I would never like show it at practice. Like, I would always just like cry when I got in the car.
Really?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on comments from dance coaches about like the look of your body and, you know, having that dancer look? Like, when do you think it's appropriate? When do you think it goes too far? I'm curious what your take is on that.
Okay, so
sorry, that's like a very controversial question.
Yeah, it is very controversial, but I guess I'll just say okay, so growing up, I always knew I was not going to be a rockette. I am 5'2". I think you have to be like, what, 5'10", 5'9", really high, really tall.
There's a look for
no
sure.
matter what I do, I will not be that height. Therefore, I already knew I was not going to be eligible to be a Rockette.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that especially like, okay, if I'm looking at that scenario, I don't think there's anything wrong with them saying, this is what we want it to look like. This is what we want the whole group to look like. And if you are 5'2" and we have people's legs that are, you know, on a 5'10" body, it's just not going to look the same. It's going to mess up the lines.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't feel like that was like toxic exclusivity, I guess.
What about a weight requirement though? Like obviously having a height requirement makes sense. Should there be a weight requirement for dancers?
See, that's where it gets tough, because I also knew, even just the capacity that I did dance, like I knew what the expectation was to look like in the costume, in your tutu. Those little platter tutus do you no favors. Like, you know, I knew what the expectation was. I knew that to do lifts with guys, like there was a certain, I knew all those things. And so it's hard. Well, I don't really know what to say about that.
Even from the guys' standpoint, I remember when I was getting older doing theater, they were telling us to work out. They were like, guys, we need you to lift the girls. You need to be strong enough to lift up these women, because that's what it is. Like, if you want to dance at a high level and you want to be able to do all these different maneuvers and lifts, you can't be some skinny dude who can't lift up a girl. Like, you have to have the strength. So they were literally telling us to go to the gym, and we were, like, a lot of us were. Luckily, I had been doing sports, so I wasn't, like, the gym wasn't a new thing for me. But there were some guys who were like really took it seriously because they wanted to be able to do the dance to the best of their abilities. So I think it's tough though, because you don't want to cause somebody an eating disorder. You don't want to body shame someone. You have to be really, really careful. So
I think maybe to avoid that, you be upfront with your expectations. And so like with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, everyone knew what they look like. Yeah. You know? And so I think, I don't know, my knee-jerk reaction is to say, like, I really don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that with anything in life, there's requirements. And, like, if you don't fit the requirements, then you're not made for that position. And I think that sounds terrible probably to some people, but I mean, you know, it's really, really tough. I think it's easy to say that from afar, but if I had a daughter that was like, their main goal was to be on that team, and they just did not fit that size or didn't have the right body type, that I would be frustrated as a parent, or especially as that girl, to be like, I'm doing everything I can and I still can't get that. But that's just how life is sometimes. You do everything you can, and it's still not right. And I think that's just a reality that we all have to learn to live with, as much as that sounds harsh.
Something that really motivated me from just the one episode of the Dallas Cowboys documentary that I watched with you, it was cool how, like, they don't have room for error. Like, they have to perform at such a high level. And it was motivating for me because, I don't know, when I'm recording a new song in the studio, if I mess up the lyrics, I can go back and re-record it. It's okay. And
they have a dedication to excellence that I respect so much.
Exactly. And even, like, okay, if you look at actors, there's a difference. We've had a lot of Hollywood actors on our show. We've interviewed people that have been on Disney. If you're doing film versus stage, like, when you're on stage, you cannot mess up. You have to do it right. There's an audience there. You need to give them the best performance you have. But when it comes to film, you can film the scene 10 different times, 20 different times, as many times as you need to nail the moment. You can do that. And so I feel that way as a singer. When I go in the studio, it's like, oh, I can mess this up. Like, it's not a big deal. But I think there's something special about, like, no, I'm going to get this right. I'm going to do my absolute best from the get-go. And I feel like it almost raises the standard a bit. So I just thought it was so cool how they were really working out there, like, they're dancing so hard. They're dancing their butts off, and it's like 95 degrees outside as they're rehearsing, and there's no room for error. I thought that was just really motivating.
So much respect. And even, not to keep talking about this, but, like, their coach they have so many professional photographers on the field at games. She goes and looks at each picture that they have, zooms in and looks, and she's like, oh, you have a little bit too much mascara on your lower lashes. Are you kidding me? Or she's like, you need to pluck your eyebrows. Like, it's from, like we said, we were talking about, like, they have an image to uphold. Yeah. And not even that, but, like, their nails, they're like, they can't bite your nails, because if you're signing autographs, like, and they look down and you have, like, a chewed on finger, that's gonna, like, ruin the image. And then when they go out in the public, they're supposed to be Oh, you want to know something that they also talked about that was really interesting?
What?
They're not allowed to be touched. Like, they're beautiful women, and so they have a very strict rule that you cannot touch them. And so when they're taking pictures, they, especially like with men, they hand them a football to hold. So then they're not even thinking about like putting their arm around them.
That is actually really interesting.
Which I also respect too, because it's like, it's all about protecting these girls. And like, I don't know, I just like, I don't really care about football. And truth to be told, I don't really care about cheerleading, but this documentary, I was like, wow, this is everything. Like, I loved it. Thank you to Skylight Calendar for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. The mental load of parenting is real, you guys. But this school year, there is help. Enter Skylight Calendar. Skylight Calendar is a smart touchscreen calendar and organizer for all your chores, groceries, meals, and to-dos. It automatically syncs Google, Apple, and other digital calendars your family uses and shows them all together on one beautiful touchscreen display. We have one of these in our kitchen, and we've had it for a few months now. And you guys, life-changing. It is so nice. First of all, it looks beautiful in your kitchen, wherever you end up putting it in your house. For us, it works really well in the kitchen. It syncs everything like it says from our Google Calendar, and it puts it all together, it color codes it, organizes it in one easy to view place. And you can even put to-do lists. We put our grocery list on there. We put what we're having for dinner every night on there. It is just a great way to eliminate confusion and clear up communication in the family. As a special limited time offer for our listeners, get $40 off your purchase of a Skylight Calendar when you go to skylightcal.com/unplanned. That's SKYLIGHTCAL.com/unplanned.
I don't understand why they're not paid more, though. I feel like they should be paid enough to where they don't have to work a job to pay their bills outside of cheerleading. They're holding them to such a high standard that it blows my mind that they have to hold a job outside of it.
I think there's a lot of value to it that's outside of like monetary for them.
And I get that.
It's like an honor.
But do you know how much money's in the NFL? Do you know how much money these owners have?
That's true. How much do those football players make?
They can afford, and they pay the players very, very well. So they can afford to pay their cheerleaders more.
Yeah, it's only 36 girls. How many guys are on the team?
And I'm not saying anything crazy.
How many guys are on a football team?
A lot. I don't even know.
Like 100?
I mean, like a full roster. Not over. I'm going to definitely say this wrong, but I feel like they probably have 50 people per team. Like, they have a deep bench. And then you have the guys that are like ready to step in.
Well, that's the other thing about the cheerleaders. There's no bench. Every single girl, there's 36 spots. There's 36 girls.
That's what I'm saying. They need to pay them more. Also, hopefully we can manifest this into existence, but I think we might have some people from the show on the podcast. So stay tuned.
I would die.
Abby's obsessed with the show right now, so she's really hoping it works out.
I love Reese so much. And Kelsey.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
and justice for Ari as a short girl.
Dude, I was pissed. Why did they cut Ari? I don't get it.
She was hauling. She was making it. I don't know. I think other people were mad about Ari too, so sometimes you just don't make it. Yeah. I'm rooting for her. I hope she makes it this year. They're about to have training camp.
Oh my gosh.
See, that's the thing. I never even really cared that much about it, but now I do care. As a female.
How do you feel about our son being 2 years old now?
It just keeps getting more and more fun. Like, while it hurts me that I'm like, we're experiencing days we're never going to get back with them, each day keeps getting freaking better. I'm going to cry because it's just so fun. And like, we're planning his birthday, which I know he already had his birthday, and his birthday party is going to be like literally over a month after his birthday, but sometimes that happens. And now he just keeps getting more and more hype for it. It's just, how do you feel about it? You've been getting kind of mushy about it.
I know. I just don't want him to grow up. Like, I love this age he's at right now, and it is so much fun. Just the way, like, he literally thinks I'm a superhero. He literally thinks I'm the coolest person on this planet, and I'm far from it. And yet he just, every time he sees me, he just screams, "Dada," and just runs up to me and gives me a hug. Like, there's nothing better than getting our kids up in the morning because they're just so happy to see us. We place these like blackout tents on top of our kids' cribs. That way they can sleep well and there's not a lot of noise and not a lot of light during their sleep. And we're the very first thing they see in the morning. When we unzip the tent and we're getting them out of bed, we're like, literally our face is the first thing they see. And so they are so excited. They're beaming. Like, both of our kids will just start laughing when they see us because they're so happy.
They just start cracking up.
And oh my gosh, it's the best way to start off your day.
They are incredible. Augie was sitting on that high chair over there during lunch today, and me and Griffin kept running over and giving him a kiss on the head, and all he was tipping his head so Griffin could kiss him on the head, and it was just like so sweet seeing them interact. Like, it's been happening more and more, and that is like, there's something so rewarding about that. I was like, these are our two children, and they love each other, and they love us, and like, we love them. It's just, I like feel so complete. And I don't know if this is like, I want to be mindful of people that are like struggling to build the family that they want and hope for someday. And if that's you, I really, really am rooting for you, and I hope you get there, and I hope you get what you dream of for your family. But I also can say, as someone that's a mother, like, it is everything and more that I thought it was going to be. Like, I remember you telling me, like, Abby, being a mom is not going to fix all your problems. And guess what? It has. I mean, obviously, no, it hasn't fixed all my problems. But, like, wow. I just feel like, I always say this, and it's just the best way I can describe it. Like, my whole person was a puzzle. Being a mom was, like, a centerpiece of it. That, like, once you put that piece in, it's like, oh, I can see everything so much clearer now. I don't know. That's so dramatic.
My new favorite activity is putting Griffin on our bike and following the trash truck around in the neighborhood when they come to pick up trash. You would think that the trash truck guy is like a pop star or something. Like,
no, he is Superman in our household.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like,
the trash truck guy.
In Griffin's mind, the coolest people in the world are his parents and the trash truck man.
Yes.
And the trash truck itself.
The trash truck itself, yeah.
Our friends for Griffin's birthday gave him a mini trash truck, and he plays with that trash truck at least an hour a day.
Well, you say mini, but it's actually huge, and we still packed it in our suitcase.
We brought it with us because he loves it that much.
We only had 2 suitcases with personal items, and that trash truck took up about 20%.
Well, I say it mini because it's not a life-size trash truck, but it's like, but it's still big. It's like, I don't know, probably 1.5 feet.
Oh yeah,
long.
It's very big.
It's a really cool trash truck.
It is. It makes sounds. It says beep beep.
And now I understand why people spend so much money on their kids, because like, you love them so much, like, you just want to give them everything.
I know. I'm like, oh, he shows any kind of interest. Yeah, I want to get you that, but then I'm like, no, probably shouldn't spoil him rotten.
Yeah,
but
I'm beginning to understand now why certain unhealthy relationships develop between parents and kids, where like, parents spoil their kids and their kids can't do anything for themselves because their parents do everything for them. You know, I can see that, because like, I love our kids so much. I just want to help them, and I just want to be there for them in everything. And so it's clicked now, like, that's why these problems occur, because out of love, parents do all this stuff for their kids, and it ends up hindering them in the long run. Right? Like, I just want to buy him all the trash trucks. Let's just get him every single one. You know?
Yeah. You know what he has discovered, Matt? There's a store here in Franklin that we've been to a couple times, because it's just like downtown. It's really cute. But they have a big basket of moon pies at the checkout area. And we were there this week getting a gift for a birthday party this weekend for one of his, like, a little girl that's turning 2. And so we went to go get the gift. We got her like a little tutu and a sticker book. And he recognized the basket of moon pies. And he knew that last time he squished one. And therefore he got to eat it, because I had to buy it.
So he squished it.
So he squished another one.
Oh my gosh.
I really think the whole thought process went through his head. But I was like, okay, let's talk about... I couldn't tell if he did it intentionally or if he just squeezed it because he was so excited.
Okay, did you give it to him though?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, okay. Let's talk about this though, because I feel like we're entering the stage where Griffin is self-aware. He knows what's going on. Yeah. He's still very young, so we have to be mindful of that. But like, I don't want to just give him everything he wants. For sure.
No. I don't either. I just like try to...
Like, I do, but I don't, because I don't want to turn him into a spoiled brat.
I try to look at like, what is his heart behind what he did.
Yeah.
And in my mind in that situation, I was like, he was excited and he squeezed it. Like, it could have been as simple as that, and it really wasn't a big deal in the grand scheme of things in my mind. So I was like, oh, it's fine. But like, when he does things, like recently with him, when he gets really worked up, which doesn't really, he's a good kid, he doesn't like throw a lot of tantrums, but if he's starting to get frustrated or like doesn't want to share, I just ask him, I'm like, do you want to take a break? And I kind of leave it in his hands, and he doesn't view it as a negative thing, and so he just views it as a time to like be away from wherever he's at, be in a new situation, be in a new setting, and kind of calm down. And so he'll be say, yeah, bake.
Give him bake. You just give him some grapes. You know, like
yeah,
yesterday.
we took a break yesterday and had some grapes.
He ate like a whole
down.
entire container of grapes during his break yesterday.
And I think he's at an age right now where this won't always be the appropriate reaction, but right now he's at an age where I think distraction is a good reaction.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's really not as serious as it feels. It's not like everything needs to be a learning lesson. They're already learning so much in their day. It's more just like we just need to get our mind off of it and then we'll move on. Whereas, like, down the line, that probably won't be my first response.
My big thing is I just don't want to reward tantrums. Like, if he's throwing a tantrum to get something that he wants, I want to be very careful for him to know that that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good point.
There are circumstances where, okay, maybe he's throwing a tantrum because he's actually like something's wrong, or maybe we could have been more mindful of Griffin and his feelings and stuff. But I just want to be really careful with the tantrum thing because I don't know, you see kids that, again, their parents out of love care about them so much they just want to do whatever their kid wants. But then you end up creating this little monster that just knows if they freak out and scream and yell, they'll get anything.
Well, I think also, yes, I totally agree. And I have definitely been known to just give him what he wants, which I'm working against because it's hard for him to know, though. And I think, like, with things, communication, just like we want communication, they want communication too. And so I'll give him warnings. I'll be like, okay, like, we're about to be home. Whenever we're home, this is going to happen. And, like, telling him, like, oh, we don't do this at this time. Like, things like that. I don't know. I can't think of a great example. But, like, just communicating with him so then he's not caught off guard and then, like, frustrated that something's not happening that he wishes was happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert parenter. I'm trying to work on it. In my mind, he can do no wrong. So I'm like, well.
I think that's your problem.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Are we getting rid of binkies pretty soon? What do you think about that? Because he's 2, right? So, like, once you're 2, it's kind of...
I mean, he only has them at nap and bedtime.
Yeah.
So it's not like serious, but I was thinking I was going to have a conversation with his pediatrician at his 2-year appointment. So when we get home.
We need to buy him a new toothbrush because his electric one got lost somehow. And I feel like it cleans
You left it at a hotel. That's what happened.
Yeah, I probably did do that. But I think the electric one cleans his teeth so much better. And that kid does not.
We need to brush Augie's teeth, Matt.
Oh, frick. We have not been doing that.
Too.
Yeah, he definitely needs those teeth brushed for sure.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. He's almost 1 too. It's funny. Their birthday parties are literally going to be a week apart.
They're almost the same size.
What do you think? Yeah, they are.
They look like twins.
Up really quick. What do you think about combined birthday parties?
I don't have a problem with it. I think that's a cool concept, especially when your kids are little. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. When they have no idea what's going on, I understand that. But I go back and forth because I'm like, combined birthday parties, you can go more over the top because it's for both of them, and rather than splitting it between 2. But then I'm also like, the whole point of a birthday party is that they have a celebration that's special just for them.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I go back and forth like what we'll do because their birthdays are a month apart, basically.
I think right now we should combine the parties because it's easier for family to be there, for friends to be there.
That's true.
But as they get older, like maybe by the time Griffin is 5, I think he would love to have his own, you know?
Well, he's having his own this year.
Oh, that one's not combined? I thought it was like a combined thing.
No, we're doing a family one for Augie the week after.
Oh, okay.
I mean, here's the thing. I think first birthdays, like, go over the top if you want. For our family, what works the best is just doing a small one because, I mean, they are turning 1. Like, they can't party very hardy. And so, but, like, with Griffin, we had a small first birthday, smallish. And then for a second, we, like, had learned his personality by then. I was like, this dude's a social butterfly. He loves a good party. He loves having people over. So that's why I was like, we'll go over the top for the second. But maybe down the line, we'll combine them. Who knows? I can't wait to see Augie's little personality develop more. He just seems to be so, like, hammy, like, laid back.
Yeah.
Has the best laugh ever.
It's funny that he is eating more food now than Griffin.
I know, which is like what Griffin did at this age, though. Griffin used to eat whole turkey burgers, remember?
He's growing like a weed, so he just needs the fuel.
So chubby.
And Griffin is just, like, refusing. Like, he'll take 1 bite of his dinner now, and then we'll have to give him a bottle of milk before bed because he
does not have a bottle. Let's get that.
Oh, sorry, a cup of milk, not a bottle. A cup of milk. Yeah, crazy. And Augie is now, by the way, in case you guys didn't know this, is now drinking cow's milk because our pediatrician said that at 11 months we could give him cow's milk.
I know, that's probably something that's going to get people riled up, but...
Oh, really? That's
I don't know.
Literally what our doctor told us.
I don't know. People really care about
okay.
milk.
I think he's doing fine.
I think there's a huge group of people that just don't even think anyone should drink cow's milk.
Really?
There's a lot of people that think that. But I mean, we're Midwest raised. We love our milk.
Yeah, I don't think we should mistreat animals, but I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking a cow's milk.
I don't think it's related to that. I think it's related to like health. Thank you to Haya for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
We've got a 2-year-old.
We have a big boy in the household now, and it's time that he is able to start taking his little kids multivitamins, and Haya is honestly all we've tried, but we're loving it so far. It's really sweet because kids get excited to take their vitamins with Haya because they send these really cute reusable yellow jars that they can decorate and personalize their own. Griffin has his own personalized little sticker jar. It makes it just like a fun tradition for them in the mornings.
Yeah.
Plus, they taste delicious.
What's nice about Haya is you don't have to be worried about there being all these sugars and added ingredients into the gummies.
Most gummies have 5 grams of sugar.
Which
is crazy.
That's so much sugar, especially for a little kid.
Especially when it's like they'd probably be rather eating a million other things that have sugar.
Yeah.
But you don't even think about sugar being hidden in those vitamins. But there's unhealthy chemicals and other gummy junk growing kids never need. That's why Haya was created. It's the pediatrician-approved, super-powered, chewable vitamin. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals. Haya fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment our kids need with a yummy taste they love. And they just launched an awesome new collaboration. The same multivitamin that more than 1 million kids and parents love are now available in Barbie Pink with a limited edition Barbie unboxing experience, including Barbie bottle and Barbie stickers.
That is really cool.
We worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim the deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/unplanned. This deal is not available on the regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/unplanned and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Thanks for staying up late with me last night.
Of course. Yes. Okay. Hey, guys. Abby potentially could be in a movie at some point.
No.
Abby just submitted her first audition last night for a role in a movie. How do you feel? I was really impressed.
It was impulsive.
Dude, you memorized your lines so fast. I would have needed at least quadruple the time to memorize those lines. I suck at memorizing lines.
It's okay,
I'm so bad
honey.
at it. I'm so impressed with you and how you did that.
Well, thank you.
I hope you get the part.
I'm not going to.
I think you have a chance of getting it.
You're such a hype man.
I think you're a really good actress. Like, I think they would be stupid not to choose you.
Matt, you're crazy. I'm sure 1 million people submitted for this, and honestly, for us, it was impulsive. Like, it was like, okay, I'm so tired of just like, there's just something about me that was like, this is the right timing. Like, boom, just start.
I love that you're doing something for yourself, though, which, like, look, nothing wrong at all. Like, if doing something for yourself is just fully embracing motherhood and not trying to do any business things outside of that and just fully being a stay-at-home mom, that is so cool, and I respect that. But I love that, like, little Abby, who wanted to be an actress, is now, as a mom who's 25 years old, submitting auditions for movies, which is so freaking sick.
Thank you.
Whether or not you get the part, like, I just think it's cool that you're actually doing it.
I'm definitely not going to get the part, but it was the whole premise of, like, I just want to do something that is like a passion outside of motherhood. Yeah. I didn't feel like I had the capacity for it until like literally this month. Before, when I was pregnant, and then obviously with 2 really young babies, I was like, there's just no way. It's not important to me right now. I can't even think about something like that. But then now I just feel really like in a place where I can have margin to just make it a hobby. That's realistically what it's going to be, as a hobby. There's no way this is going to be like, there's no way I'm willing. First of all, I doubt that people would want to hire me in a large capacity.
I disagree. I think you're a very good actress.
Secondly, I'm not trying to knock myself down, but I'm just trying to be realistic. And secondly, I'm not willing to sacrifice what that would take. But I think it'd be really cool to have a hobby, but most importantly, I want my boys to look at their mom and say, wow, my mom is a woman that has passions. First and foremost, she loves me, and her main passion and priority in her life is her family, us, and their dad and our dad. But secondly, that she, is willing to take a risk. She's willing to put herself out there, and she's willing to pursue her talents, which is all things that I want my kids to do.
Yeah.
So then I was like, if I want them to do these things, then I need to model that behavior. And obviously there's a time and a place for it, and we're finally getting to like a stage where I feel like I am able to. Some moms probably would not feel this way, they would feel this way sooner, they'd feel this way later, who knows, but like this felt like a good time for me, and it just felt impulsive to just send it. I feel like I checked off the box just by submitting the audition. Like, it's not about getting the part, it's not about like getting validation from any casting agency or anything like that. It's really just about doing it, and I did it.
Yeah, and I think if you have
and
fun,
I don't think it was good.
I think you did great. I did a horrible job reading the lines. Oh my gosh, I was like messing up every word.
It was also midnight.
I was like holding an iPhone like this at like midnight and recording Abby, and I'm like holding the script in my other hand, reading the lines for her, and I'm just botching every line. But you did great.
It was so nice that you were willing to do that.
Hopefully,
you
like
were so encouraging too.
Thank you. Hopefully my horrible performance made you look even better. They're like, gosh, whoever was reading the lines for Abby, like behind the camera, sucks, and she's amazing. Like, I hope that's what they think, and then you'll just get the job. But okay, what I wanted to tell you though is, no matter how successful you are in any industry at all, there's going to be someone better than you and crushing it more than you. And it's crazy to me how, like, especially I've written like 10 songs here in Nashville. I'm not going to put them all out, but I'm picking out which ones I think are the best to release on Spotify as I build out my music catalog. But what's crazy is, like, I've worked with some artists and producers and songwriters who are like really, really talented, but then we'll get in these deep combos and they're like, yeah, I feel like I'm like failing. I feel like I'm not, doing the best. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if someone else like looked at you and saw how you're crushing it, like say someone the other day, by the way, who was telling me this, has 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. I was like, dude, you don't realize how many people are looking at you and wishing that they were in your shoes, right? And so I think you just have to be thankful no matter what stage you're in, no matter what your life looks like in its current moment, because like there's someone who's looking at you as that person of, oh, I just wish I was them. And I think you got to be thankful for what you have, because there's always going to be someone who has it better than you. So just like be thankful with your circumstances. And I think like in your case, that means if you're having fun just doing these auditions, keep doing them. And then maybe you actually land one of the roles, which I truly believe you will.
You're so nice.
And just like enjoy it, right?
No, that's how I feel. I feel like there's nothing about me that is like desperate about this. Like, it's really just, and not because I think that I'm gonna just get so much work. It's not that at all. It's really just that, like, I am fully content with my life currently, but I just feel like this would just be a fun hobby to pursue, and I'm proud of myself for doing it, because I think that the older you get, the more, like, I don't know, established in life, I guess, which I'm meaning that being like, okay, we have our career now, we have our family, we have, the harder it is to want to step outside that and put yourself out there. And for me, like, I kind of use our family as like a safety umbrella. Like, anything that was like me as an individual was not, I want to say scary, but like it was slightly intimidating. Whereas like I was like so comfortable in this role. So anyway, it was just, if you're a mom out there that just feels like guilty, I guess, about wanting to do something beyond the home or your family, which you shouldn't, and you know that, but just know that I'm also saying that you shouldn't. I don't know, that I'm also doing something for myself.
I'm really glad that you are.
And we submitted it at midnight, and it really wasn't good, but I just did it.
I think it was good. I think you did great. And I think they'd be stupid not to hire you.
You are crazy.
They should at least give you a call back.
You are crazy.
Is all I'm saying.
I'm literally expecting nothing.
Isn't it fun, though?
I'm expecting crickets from this team.
Okay, what's so interesting about you... Okay, yeah, like... Luckily, you're not reliant on acting to pay your bills. Because I think that would be...
Also, that comes from a place of privilege, of course.
Yeah, you're very lucky. And I think, like, no matter what industry you're in, like, if you're in a creative job, there's a lot of people that do theater because they love theater, but they also have to do commercials and all these things in film just to pay their bills, because theater does not pay that well. There's not that much money in theater. And so... I don't know. I think it's like, it's cool that you can do this more of like as a passion project. And
for sure,
I think like that's just like a really neat place to be.
Well, and I gave it up for the past like 6 years. Like, we went to college for this at one point, and then like as soon as I realized that it wasn't going to be in the best interest of the family that we envisioned for ourselves, I was like, no. It wasn't like I was even sad about it. It was an easy thing to be like, okay, yeah, no, it's a no for me. It's not worth it. And I was fine with that, and I was comfortable with that. But then now that it's not a place where it's like, this is I need this to keep the lights on or to, take care of my family, then it's like a lot more comfortable place to be.
I shared some demos with you the other day of music I've been working on recently while we've been in Nashville. I'm curious, of the demos I showed you, which song to you is your favorite?
You know which one I'm going to say.
The one about being our kid's hero?
Yes. First of all, I love the concept of it, but then I also love the folky sound because you've never done one like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm diving a little bit more into folk these days. Noah Khan is like a really big artist right now, and I feel like because of Noah, everyone is like, wait, folk music is freaking awesome. And so now there's like this explosion of all these new folk songs coming out. Stargazing by Miles Smith is a huge song.
It's always been out. I think now people are just letting it get popular.
Yeah.
I feel like Johnny Swim has always been folk.
True.
Right?
You've always loved Johnny Swim. But I've been doing some more folk, which has been fun. But yeah, I guess what Abby's saying is I wrote this song the other day about like coming clean to our son, that I'm actually not a superhero. I'm just a guy.
It's so cute.
Like, I'm literally just a dude. But when you're a kid, you think your dad is Superman. And
you are their Superman.
Which is wild. So wild. But
I love that.
I think this song could be fun to market, though. I kind of envision myself in like a cape with maybe a superhero like mask on or something, and I'm just like singing this song.
I love it.
Which I think is,
I'll be your hero while I can.
And I whistle in it too. I didn't realize this. Not everybody can whistle. Like I thought.
I can't. This is me whistling. Oh, what?
Good job.
I can't do a pitch though.
That's really good.
Oh, see, it's gone now. My whistler's broken again. Oh. Yeah, no.
My grandpa used to whistle a lot, so that's who I learned to whistle from. But yeah, I'm like whistling in the songs and stuff.
I don't know. My mouth doesn't do that.
I think I think that was pretty impressive.
I don't get it.
Do you know what's blown my mind recently, Abby?
What?
So I wrote some music with somebody the other day, and all they had to make music was their computer, a microphone, and a guitar. That is literally it.
I love that.
It was eye-opening because I think like when you conceptualize, oh man, I wish I could make freaking awesome songs like all these big artists and their music is amazing. And you don't think about how modern music is made, and it's truly like on a computer. And they didn't even have treatment in the rooms. There was no noise canceling panels.
I didn't even know that existed.
What do you mean?
Treatment on the walls.
Like, you know, if you go to a studio, how they have all this stuff on the walls, like paneling to make sure there's no echo, to make sure the sound is perfect. They just had an SM7B, which is the mic that we're talking.
SM7B.
This is an SM7B,
oh, okay.
the microphone we're recording for our podcast.
Okay.
And,
this looks like a nice microphone, though.
It is a good microphone, but it's nothing crazy fancy, though, because you just think of people having this crazy fancy equipment. And this person's music is really, really good. And I was hyped to be writing a song with them, and it just kind of opened my eyes to how music is evolving these days. There's so many like big labels who are pushing the biggest artists out there and pushing all these songs to be popularized, but then you have all these like indie artists and all these independent artists who just have their computer and a mic, and that's it. And I thought that was just like really inspiring, how you don't have to have that much. You don't have to have some big fancy setup to make good music. And we wrote a song together, and I'm stoked. I think it's a good one. So
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Wait, you're actually proud of me?
Yeah.
Really?
You didn't know that?
Like why though? Like in what way?
Because we've come here and you've filled your time doing exactly what you said you were going to do. And I know it's hard for you to sacrifice what you're already working on to like pursue something new, and it's scary to go into a new area. And you've like really dove in, and you've remained strong. And it hasn't been easy, and you've continued. And I feel like 99% of people would have quit by now.
Thanks.
And 99% of people have quit. You have resilience.
Thank you.
And you have real talent. And you're creative. And you're freaking smart.
I'm really, really excited for the new music that's coming out. And I've been really enjoying being here, because I think like flying into Nashville just for a day to record has like hindered my growth, I think, with the music and with what I've been able to do. So just being here and having a full month to really just write a ton and record a ton.
And you did it. You seized the opportunity really well.
Thanks. I've been like so thankful to have that. So
and it's cool to like be here while you're doing that too, because even though I'm not like in the room with you, I'm like, I appreciate what a creative commitment it is.
Can I just say something? I think I just want to ask everybody listening right now. It doesn't even have to be Doesn't have to be me, because I don't even care. Like, I only listen to my music if you actually want to listen to it. But like, go whenever you're listening to music, go like try to find an independent artist, or try to go find somebody that's like new, that doesn't have over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and try them out. Like, listen to their catalog, listen to their stuff. Because
how do you find them?
I
feel like discoverability is hard for new artists.
It really is. Honestly, TikTok and Instagram Reels. Like, when I find people that come up on my feed, I go stream their stuff, because I'm like, I think it's so cool that they're pursuing their passion. And if they have a good song, I'm like, good for you. You might not be some big artist with a big label behind you, but you're really working hard to pursue your dreams. So I've been listening to a lot more independent artists recently, and a lot more smaller artists. And sure, sometimes can the quality of the music not be as strong? Sometimes, yeah, that's true. Because, you know, if you don't have the luxury of all this money from a label backing you to make everything top of the top of the top, sure, sometimes the quality won't be there. But I think you'd be shocked at like how many amazing songs there are coming from people that have, you know, even less than 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. It's really cool how much talent there is out there. And I don't know, I think there's just so much attention and recognition for all the people at the top of the top, but I think it's important to go focus on the little guys. It's kind of like shopping in a small business, you know? Like, sure, can you get something cheaper at Walmart? Yeah, but you want to support local, because you're actually helping an individual out rather than a corporation.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just kind of like a little PSA I wanted to say.
You want to shout out a small artist you've been listening to?
You guys should go check out Jake Clark. He's a friend of mine. His music's actually really good. He has 120,000 monthly listeners, but he deserves a lot more. His music's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Clark. Listen to Give You Away by Jake Clark.
Oh, that one's so
Song
good.
is a freaking banger. Okay?
That was a good little shout out there.
Yeah. Support the little guys.
Right. Since we've been here in Nashville for a month, almost.
Yeah.
A question we get asked a lot, or I don't know if you've been asking this, but like, will you move to Nashville? Are you thinking about moving to Nashville?
To be completely transparent, more than ever, I've actually thought of that myself, because I do actually like it here a lot. Like, I do love the people here. It's kind of like you get a good mix of, you know, small town vibes, but then you have the city, which is so full of life and there's so much to do. And then especially as someone who's pursuing music and releasing music consistently, it's cool to be around a lot of other people that are doing the same thing. But I don't think at least for the future, I don't think we'd ever like leave Phoenix, right?
I would never say never. I think that pretty soon I would want to be stable for while our kids are in the house.
Yeah.
Unless something happens. Yeah, obviously life circumstances happen that you don't foresee, but like the goal would be to have kids raised in one area. I think that's just better for them, if possible. As far as that place being Nashville, I don't think so. Just because we don't have family here, and we have family in Arizona now, and that's ultimately the most important thing in our book. So, as far as like making frequent trips here, oh yeah, especially for your music.
Something though that I love about the state of Tennessee is there's no state income taxes.
That's true.
Same thing with Texas. Same thing with Nevada. I believe Wyoming has no state income taxes. But don't people always say
they like make up for other places?
I do think the property taxes here are higher than they are in Arizona.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like we wouldn't have to necessarily own property here, right? We could always like rent something. I am a fan of buying. I think like if you're gonna live somewhere, you should, you know, probably lean in the direction of buying, because you can build up equity.
What if you just had like we can talk about this off camera, never mind.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off camera. But yeah, I think, okay, people have been confused though. A lot of our friends have been like, wait, okay, you're going to Nashville all the time. You guys are there for a whole month. You've been talking about moving. Oh, so you're moving to Nashville. The answer is no. We're not actually like moving to Nashville, moving there. But I do see ourselves taking extended trips here like we have been, because we do like it here.
It's an awesome area. I just don't want to be here at the winter time.
Yeah, the thing is, like,
I hate winter.
We do live in Phoenix, and we are going to leave the city of Phoenix at some point, probably this year, but we're not like leaving the general area. Like, we're still going to stay in that general city limit, right?
Yeah.
It's not like we're like moving
the
states.
Phoenix area.
People when we said we were moving out of Phoenix, people thought we were like literally like moving states.
No.
Yeah.
Moving to a different city in Arizona that's close to Phoenix.
Exactly.
Yeah, but not to Franklin or not to Nashville. I think that this is a lovely area, and if we had family here and if we had roots here, then it would be a no-brainer. We would be here, but I think it's just a great place to visit now. And we've had an awesome summer here with this house and meeting new friends and revisiting older friends. Like it's been dreamy, to say the least. This town is so sweet. Like the little parade and the shops and the restaurants, it's been incredible, and I feel like people are very warm and friendly here. So maybe someday, who knows?
How do you feel now that your parents have lived with us for over a year now?
I know.
How do you feel about that being a long-term thing?
You know, I feel like it's one of those things where you cannot understand unless you were in our family. You had this same house set up and you had the same relationship with your parents, or if you had the same relationship with your in-laws and they had the same boundaries. You just don't know what you don't know. And I wouldn't have even thought this a year ago, but it's wonderful. Like I love it. And I just have so much respect for my parents, and I love living with them. And I would live with so many people, though. That's the thing. Like I was always one that like loved cohabitating. Like it's just comes naturally to me. I don't have like, would you say I like have a strict way of like living that really?
Yeah.
I feel like we're both flexible people.
We are
and
very
adaptable.
flexible. I legit like, wouldn't it be fun to like make a commune?
Yeah, like let's let everyone move in.
I love having people around. It just keeps things so happy and alive.
So joyful.
And there's always someone to talk to, right? Like you go to do something.
You're like,
down
I'm
in the
gonna go
kitchen.
grab coffee. Does someone want to hop in with me? Like,
yes.
I'm gonna go to the grocery store. Like, it's just, I love being around people, and it's just my personality. And obviously that's not to say like, sometimes I'm very like, I need to be alone. And that's the other thing that's great about my parents and great around with everyone that like lives with us, which is just our parents and you. But like, I can say, hey, I need alone time right now, and it's totally respected.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize this. We have this conversation probably bi-weekly with them where it's like, are you still happy and comfortable with this? Or is there like, and then they ask us, they're like, only if you're still happy and comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always revisited. And it's just so happy in this house. So our house is full, and I love a full house.
Yeah.
And
me too.
it's sweet and it's precious. And I feel like more than anything, I'm so grateful that our kids are like raised where they just feel, I think that they, like if they had a word to describe their child, I think they would say it felt safe, because there's just so many people that love and care for them surrounding them at all times.
Yeah.
I love that. And I kind of was raised like that. I was very, 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 very close to my grandparents. Still am. Obviously, we lost a couple, and that was like really hard. And it's because we were so close. Like they were like another, I want to say parent, but they were a grandparent, but they were a grandparent that was there as much as my parents. And so, yeah, it's just so, it shaped me in so many ways, and I'm grateful that my kids can have that same relationship with their grandparents. Your parents too. They're so close with them. Griffin talks about them all the time. We FaceTime, send pictures, we talk about them a lot, and they love their family.
It's been sweet while we've been here, since the drive isn't very far from Nashville to St. Louis. My parents have been popping in, like hanging out with us and being with the kids. And
your mom's brought the grandmas.
Yeah,
the great grandmas.
That's happening too. By the time you guys are listening to this, we're gonna have every single grandma over at our house, or over here. I guess your grandma who's in Arizona isn't gonna be here, but a lot of grandmas and great grandmas here coming to see our kids, which is just so cool.
I love it.
It's funny because like growing up, I didn't really know my grandparents that well, but I knew my great grandparents pretty well, and I love that our kids have both. Very thankful for that.
Make me cry.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Well, it's just gonna make me cry because people that aren't here, but I don't want to think like that.
Yeah, that is sad.
That's the thing about grief; it just pops up randomly.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it recently popped up because I was going through old photos, and I saw so many old photos and videos of me FaceTiming Papa. And it was like they were like frozen in time. It was like I could almost pretend like I was currently FaceTiming him.
It's so weird in a modern era with our phones and our phone videos, because like when you see pictures and videos, like even looking at the videos from our wedding with both your grandpas there, it really felt like they're still here. Yeah. It doesn't.
I mean, I literally still haven't deleted my text conversation with Papa because it just feels like, in a way, I can pretend that he'll respond. Yeah. I don't know. Why is this episode going to this? We gotta end it.
Sorry that you're sad.
I'm okay. I'll be okay. I don't need another episode of me crying.
You haven't been crying very much. I know. I've been the one crying more. Yeah. Recently, because we've been watching a lot of Disney movies. And now that I'm a dad, stuff gets to me. Yeah. Like the movie Coco. My dad was watching Coco with me and Griffin when he was visiting, and my dad was shocked that I bawled my eyes out during that movie, and I was shocked too. I did not expect it. It
hit you.
It was the scene where Coco's dad is singing to her and saying "Remember Me," and he's going back on the road to pursue music, and because he's in the movie, Coco's dad is a singer, songwriter, performer. And he loves his daughter so much, and
why did I think Coco was a boy?
Coco's actually it's Grandma Coco. So the main character's grandma, that's Coco, and then Coco's dad is the one who's like a really pivotal role in the show. I don't want to spoil the movie Coco because it's one of my favorite Disney movies. But yeah, bawled my eyes out because I just I could so relate.
But you didn't cry during Inside Out 2.
I didn't cry during Inside Out 2.
I didn't cry. I didn't even feel tempted to cry during that one.
That movie was really good.
It was amazing though.
But it didn't strike the same chord that Coco did. And I think the reason Coco did is because Coco, when you see her dad singing to her, she's like this little girl who's like Griffin's age, and I could just see me and Griffin in that moment, and I just like melted right there. So yeah, now 2 freaking Pixar movies have made me cry. Up. That was like a year ago we watched that.
That's a train wreck of a movie.
Bawled my eyes out.
Well, in the sense of emotions.
Yeah, didn't even cry the first few times I saw that movie, but now that I'm married, that movie made me cry, and now that I'm a father, Coco made me cry.
Disney does it differently.
Well, thank you guys for staying tuned with our podcast. We really appreciate that you're here. If you haven't already left a comment or left us a review for the podcast, it really means a lot. We're so thankful that you're here with us each and every week. It wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you for being here. And as always, 3, 2, 1.
Peace out, dudes.